Welcome to the tutorial on the basics of Drupal accounts. In this tutorial you will learn the basics of managing users on your Drupal website. The first thing that you should learn is that every user has a link called My Account whenever they're logged into the site. And so you might want to click that, and in this case you can click the edit button for the account. And you'll see some basic settings, like you can set the username for the user. You need to input the current password to change the email address or password. You can set the email address. This is where you would change a password. You can set the user status to active and blocked. You can add a picture. And you can have a setting for use the administrative overlay, which is the blacked out screen with the what looks like a light box effect on the screen. So you can also set the time zone. Here, since we're setting up our own website in this series of tutorials, what we're going to do is we're going to add a user picture. And so I'm just going to pick the screenshot of myself that I have, and I'm going to click the Save button. And now that's been saved. And so I'm going to close this. And now you can see a little picture of myself. You can see the history. You can see how long I've been a member for this particular site. Now, one of the things that you should know about Drupal is that it has a role-based permission system. And what that means is that different users can occupy one or more roles of the site, and each role can have its own configuration setting. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the People menu, and in the People menu you'll see that there is an overview of users, and you can add users here, which has the same settings as we just went over for the My Account. You can add, you can see a list of your users. You can use this drop down here to add roles or remove roles or block or unblock or cancel accounts, so you can do some bulk operations for the users on your site. And once you get to the point where you have a lot of users on your site, you have some filters here that you can use to find different types of users on the site. So you can click the filter button, and you should be able to find users that match this criteria. Now, in order to get back to the normal default, I have to hit the reset button here. Now, over in the upper right hand corner has the permissions for the site. This gives you an overview of the permissions on the site. Now, we're not going to have time. We're not going to go through every single one of these, but I want you to read through this list to get an idea of what types of permissions are available for the site. There are literally permissions to do almost everything in the site, so it's very granular. You could say that Drupal has a granular role-based permission system. And granular means that it is very specific, like a grain of sand. Now, here you can see the permissions. If you want to get another view, you can choose roles. And here you can add new roles to the site if you want. So one of the most common roles that you might want to have on your website is a site editor role. So we can add that role here. And you can see that that is listed. Now we have a site editor role, and then we can edit the permissions for that site editor role. And this is the same screen that we saw before, except now it's just been filtered to where we only see a site editor role here, and we can set the permissions for it. And again, you'll have to read through these on your own. Generally, for content, there are three main options. There's create new content, there's a edit your own content or edit any content. And again, there's delete your own and delete any content. And each content type, which we'll talk about content types in the future, such as article and basic page, have their own settings that you can set. So every content type can be different for users. So you can have some users that can edit the news articles, and you can have some users that edit the basic pages. Now, the next thing that we need to look at is how to actually manage the sign-up process for your users. And so let's just take a look at that really quickly. And so let's just take a look at how the site comes as a default. So by default, this is what your Drupal site looks like whenever you're logged out of it. So I just logged out of the site, and you notice that here we can create a new account. So we have a username and email address. You can request a new password on the site. A little trick here is if you want to ever get back to that page, if you lose your admin menu or your user login menu, what you can find is that you can do this menu is on the user path. So if you type in question, let's zoom in here a little bit. Question Q equals user, or just go to the user path if you have clean URLs enabled. You can get directly to the user account menu here. We're just going to go back here. Now let's log in. Now, to manage the users, the sign up process, we're not going to go to the people menu, we're going to go to the site configuration menu. And in the site configuration menu, we're going to see that there's a account settings. And here, I'll just give you a little overview of this and a preview of what we'll talk about in the future. You can set a name for anonymous users. So you can say, instead of anonymous, you could say visitors. Site visitor. Make that a little more friendly than anonymous users. You can choose which role is automatically assigned admin privileges. You can choose how the registration process takes place. You can have it so administrators can only add new accounts. That will remove the create new account link from the website. You can have visitors allowed to sign up on their own, and you can have visitors sign up, but you need to approve it. And you can also require to have an email verification when a visitor creates an account. And here's some settings whenever you are canceling a user account. So here you can say disable the account and keep the content, disable the account and unpublish its content, delete the account and make its content belong to the anonymous user, or delete the account and its content. So this was how you can handle whenever the process of whenever you're canceling the account. You can enable user signatures for comments, and you can enable user pictures, and you can set the display style for the picture. Now you remember my picture is very small, so that was set to the thumbnail style. I'm going to set my picture to the medium style, and whenever we look at my account we can take a look at that. You can set the picture upload size and some guidelines if you want to have it set up, displayed to your users whenever they're signing up for the account, of what types of pictures you might want to accept for their avatars that they have displayed on the site. Finally, at the bottom of this page, you have different predefined email templates that you can use for different situations on your website. So you can have a welcome letter, you can have awaiting approval, and in each one of these, what you'll find is that you can use these tokens. So we can zoom in here, such as username, user:\name, and these tokens are automatically insert a person's username, and the token explanation of what tokens can be used is displayed up here. And of course, you can have this set the subject. So depending on what you're doing with the site, you could use this process to invite users that you're adding yourself. So like whenever the administrator creates an account, you could have a welcome letter sent to the person. So such as if you're just adding Drupal to your organization, and as new users get added, they'll have an email sent to them automatically with your account information in it, or however you want to have their account set up. So you can use this to automate some processes for signing new users up. It's a pretty useful system. So here I'm just going to save this, and we're not going to go into this, but I just wanted to let you know that it exists. Users can have different user profile fields, so you can collect information such as their first name, their last name. You can create an address field to collect that, or a phone number field. So you can add custom user fields to the profile, and then you can have users fill this out whenever they're registering for your site. But we'll talk about this in the future. So now I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to go back to my account. And one of the things you'll notice is now my picture is much larger because I set the image style for how my image is going to be displayed on my own profile page. So this covers the basics of managing users on your Drupal website.